Hello, welcome to Ace Your English with Mrs. A. The purpose for this video is to help you to understand the skills you need to identify how to analyze language in a text. I'm an English teacher. I've been teaching English for a while now, about 20 years, and I'm passionate about it. Why am I passionate about it? I'm passionate about my students. I'm passionate about you. I want you to be able to understand how to identify language, how to write a language paper, whether you're in year 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11. Yes, GCSE class, yes, GCSE. We want you to be able to identify how you can write a response on a language question. So right now, I'm going to go into the video and I'll see you after. The focus of today's video is to identify how writers use language for effect in a text. There are a number of language techniques which I'll just remind you of right now. I won't go over them in detail, but you would see what they are. So emotive language, hyperbole, tricolon, alliteration, repetition, juxtaposition, and sibilance, and a few more: simile, metaphor, imagery, and a few more: pathetic fallacy, semantic fields, onomatopoeia. Also, there's some what we call word class. These also classify under language features. So we have verb, the noun, the adverb, the pronoun, the adverbial, and the adjective. All these are relevant and necessary when we are aiming to analyze language in a text. Now, today's focus is on a few lines that have been taken from a text called the Wales Bike Tournament. And this is the part of the text that we would be looking at. There are quite a lot of wordings there, but that's the whole thing together. But I've broken it into two, so it will be easy for us to read and to annotate. So let's keep going. Now, why do we need to annotate a text when reading? So there's so many reasons why we can do this. And it's very important that you begin to do this now, because it helps you understand what you are reading. You've seen the text, you've read it, you know what the question is, or maybe you haven't even, but you are aware of some of the things that we've spoken about just now, the techniques. So as you're reading, you're trying to identify these relevant parts that focus on the question. You must remember though, you're not just spotting these features, say, oh yes, that's a verb, that's an adjective. No, you are trying to look for areas that you can explain that are meaningful and will help in your evidence. So let's try and do this together. We're going to read the first part of the text in the two slides above. How does a writer use language to show Rahul's excitement? That is the question that we're focusing on. Support your answer with words, so a noun, phrases, and language features, the first one at the top from the text. Thrilled it was morning, Rahul uttered a joyous whoop. Bring it on. Jumping out of bed and racing down the stairs, he entered the kitchen hurriedly. Standing by the window, sweeping the room with his eagle eyes, he sought for succulent, sugary snacks to keep him going on his excursion. Ultimately stopping his rucksack halfway, he leapt towards the freezer like a desperate snow leopard hunting for drinks. In no time his eyes lit up as he pulled out a diminutive blue carton that he placed in the sack's middle compartment. Let's see if we can annotate this part of the text. So again, to remind us, How does the writer use language to show Rahul's excitement? Let's see the annotation. You will notice here that I have put some areas in colours, different colours. So those are the bits that I'm annotating. Can you identify what they are? For example, what would you talk about the red ones? What would you say they are? How about the green ones? The blue ones? How about the orangey ones? Or the brown ones? I suppose you've got some ideas in your head now. Let's go on and see if you are right. So the first blue one at the top, joyous, is an adjective. So straight away, looking at the word joyous, it does go hand in hand with excitement, doesn't it? So there you realize that by the time you find things like that, you're beginning to identify what's going on. And then the phrase, bring it on. When do we say that? What does that inform us? And then we have some more verbs. At the very beginning, thrilled. Then we have jumping, racing, hunting, sought. All adjectives to show this person is really, really active. And why? Because he's delighted, he's happy, he's excited. So that's how you begin to look at it. Look at the question and then begin to identify things as you go along. Then we have the adverb, hurriedly, which also, along with the ones at the top, jumping, racing, demonstrates impatience. Sometimes when people are excited, they do become impatient. Maybe you too. And then we have the metaphor with his eagle eyes. Eagle eyes. That's a creature, an animal. So we see animalistic imagery there, along with the metaphor. What does it tell us? He's very observant, isn't he? He's focused. And then we have the sibilants, succulent, sugary snacks. Probably you saw that as alliteration. You were right. But because they have the hissing sounds, they are sibilants. Why did the writer use the words succulent and sugary? How do these words make you feel? How does it show what's going on in Rahul's mind? So we have some more verbs there, stuffing, leapt and hunting. And then there's the simile of the snow leopards. Because he's not a snow leopard, again, some more animal imageries. But it creates a picture of him being swift and agile, displaying exuberance. Again, another phrase, his eyes lit up. How does that explain how he felt when somebody's eyes light up? Yes, I'm sure you're answering that as well. And then there are a few more adjectives. So these are some annotations that you've made. It doesn't take you long to do that. But by the time you do that, you can see it's going to be easy for you to answer any question because you've already got a lot of information there. So we're done with that. Let's go on to the second part. Again, that's a question to remind us. And then this is the second part of the extract. So, closing the freezer with his right foot, he fastened the rucksack tightly before scaling the 14 stairs back to his room. Whispering mission accomplished while grabbing his towel, he headed straight to the bathroom before any other member of his household could beat him to it. This state of euphoria sent his pulse racing, ba-dum, 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 producing 130 decibels like a jackhammer power saw, drilling through a wall. So again, this tells us how he's acted or reacted after finding what he wants. And he says mission accomplished and some other words. So I wonder what you have identified, because I'm sure you were looking at some as we were going, as I was reading. So let's see whether it tallies what I've found here. So again, a few more reds and browns and blue and green and purple. And what are they? I'm sure you would have found those verbs and the adverb. And here I'm trying to also say a few things about them. So it demonstrates Rahul still ensures he packs his things well. Yes, they go there. I mean, scaling, of course, still shows his excitement and then putting everything in order. So even though he's in a hurry, he still makes sure he gets all what he needs properly done. And then I've explained that scaling again suggests his excitement. And he's finding it difficult to slow down. And then the phrase mission accomplished, I'm sure you know what that means. Again, helping us to know how he's feeling. He's got what he wanted. Remember, he woke up thrilled in the morning. So he's still happy. He's excited now. He's filled his bags. And the phrase beat him to it is just to look at his character as a person and how it portrays Rahul. Now, why did I do that? It's not relevant to this question, but remember, when you're reading a text, you're not just going to have one question, you're going to have different questions. Even though this is focusing on one question in this particular section, but when you're annotating a text, you want to annotate every part of it, knowing that it might be helpful in one way or the other. We have the euphoria, which is a noun. What does that mean? It shows excitement in such a way that the reader can relate to. Excitement, happiness, over the moon, joyous. See, all those words have come up so many times. And then the onomatopoeia, I know you know that. And you can hear the sounds there, and you can see them as well. It's talking about how our hearts beat. Now, if you put your ear in somebody's chest, you can hear those sounds there. But what is interesting in this particular one is how the writer has actually used them to show that he is excited. And probably you get excited when you are about to embark on a journey as well. Now, obviously, there's so many things there, but I'm looking at the hyperbole here, which is exaggeration, when it says like a jackhammer power saw. So a power saw, which is drilling through a wall. Can you imagine the sounds that it would create? Now, the writer is saying that that's how loud Rahul's heart is beating. That's an exaggeration, yes? Yes, it is. I know you probably have found a simile there, which is quite right, but I just focus on that part because I thought that's also interesting. So how does this sentence explain how Rahul is feeling? These questions will help you to respond to the response, to respond to the question when you're writing the answers. That's why I'm doing it like that. And do you know what decibels are? Why not find out if you don't, to help you understand? So the next thing is we have to compose our response, write it in paragraphs, which again could be a bit challenging sometimes, but it's something that you want to do, and you want to try to do it effectively to achieve a high grade. Now, when I say a high grade, I'm not talking about going to a 9 straight away. It depends on where you are at the moment. So if you're on 3, you want to go and get to 4. If you're on 4, you want to try to get to 5, you know, going up rather than shooting straight up. That's not what I'm saying. So don't worry if you're not where you think you want to be, but that's where you're going. So why not give it a go? Yes, thank you for watching. I believe it has been beneficial to you. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there you get more videos. You know when they are there and you'll be able to look at it. For what we've done today, in the second video, I will be giving you a response. I have written a response that you can see. And if you've done yours, we can make comparisons. Thanks very much. I'll see you then. Bye.